Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Slickmoth and I'm back again with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the Warner Bros. Montreal games that we know they're making two DC related video games. I wanted to talk about what I think that those are or will be, and kind of clear up a mistake that I made previously, a pretty big mistake. And I will say that I was misguided in a sense that I'll kind of explain. Let me run you down with what happened here. So a few months I made a video that was essentially saying that a Batman game made by Warner Bros. Montreal, or a next Arkham game, whether it be by Rocksteady or Warner Bros. Montreal, was confirmed. It's guaranteed. And the reason that I said that was because a Warner Brothers executive came out on September 30th, and what he said was, I remember the date, I don't know how I remember that, but I remember he said it on September 30th. And what this executive said is he said that the possibilities for a Batman game are endless, and essentially we don't have anything to announce yet, but we're going to announce something soon. Games are coming for Batman. So what I interpreted this as, well, that confirms there's an Arkham game. I mean, duh, what other game would they be referring to? I kind of didn't even think about the possibility of a Batman game being made by a different developer. And now looking back on it, without a shadow of a doubt, like 100% guarantee, that executive was referring to, foreshadowing, whatever you like to call it, the Batman game made by Telltale Games, not an Arkham game, not Warner Bros. Montreal, etc. Because he said it like 3 months, however, maybe 4, I don't exactly remember, when actually the Telltale game was announced. I think it was about 4 months before the Telltale game was announced. So he was obviously referring to that one, and we haven't even heard anything about the Warner Bros. Montreal games. It was only recently announced that they're developing Warner Bros. Montreal games, within the past 4 or 5 months. So they've been developing for it for a while, but we don't even know what the title of the game is. So my point in saying that is, the game that the developer was referring to was, in that particular instance, Batman Telltale, which I didn't even think about the idea that they would give Batman to a different developer or have another developer, make a Batman game. So here's the thing. I don't think that in any way what happened with this executive who was foreshadowing a Batman Telltale game, first of all, he never said we have one game that may be coming out, more information soon. No, he said the possibilities are endless. I perceive endless to be plural, as in there could be multiple games, first of all. Second of all, beyond that, it just makes the most sense. If you think about it, people in March, kids, like 10 or 11, 12, in that range, even younger maybe, but, in that range, and also kind of adults as well, will either be introduced to Batman for the first time in Batman v Superman, or will rekindle their love for the character that they once had when they were kids or whatever. So what does that mean? And Warner Brothers, the smart businessmen and women that they are, they're thinking about that. They're thinking, okay, we can capitalize on this. We can say, okay, so these people are going to, it's a smooth transition from seeing the character on the big screen, falling in love with Ben Affleck's Batman, and then just going straight into playing video games, whether it be Batman Telltale or an Arkham game if it is in development. So let's see, where do I go from here? There's a lot of different things I need to get up across in this commentary. So first, let me just mention this. Warner Bros. Montreal is developing two DC-related games. I think we're all aware of that. So one thing to keep in mind with that game and with that developer in a whole is that they are developing multiple games at all times. So it is not like Rocksteady, a studio with 120 employees, where they're developing one game, they're focusing on that game for 4 years, almost half a decade, and then they release that game. What this game is more like with Warner Bros. Montreal is they're pumping games out faster, and not only faster, but they're working on multiple games at a time. So what I think is most likely is because Warner Bros. Montreal has 400 employees compared to Rocksteady's 100. Essentially. So they have 4 times as many employees, and they're working on 2 games. And they may be working on a mobile game. For example, when Arkham Knight, got into a struggle with the PC port, a struggle is to say the least, they actually recruited Warner Bros. Montreal to make the Batgirl DLC. So, with that out of the way, eventually, Warner Bros. Montreal, we're going to learn more about these games. They're developing 2 games, and it's not going to be like Rocksteady, where they release a game, and then 4 years later, they release a sequel. What this game is going to be more like 2 to 4 years. I mean, Rocksteady took 2 years to make Arkham City, so, but since they're building a game mechanic from the ground up, I can tell you 100% Rocksteady's not making a Batman game. I can guarantee you that, because, they've said it's the end of the franchise, and also the teaser on Arkham Insider of, they kind of tease they may be making a Batman game. That's obviously a mislead. They would never, if they are making a Batman game, they wouldn't announce it for years. I mean, that's going to be a big thing when they decide to announce it. So I'm pretty confident that they certainly could they be making a Justice League game? Absolutely, but they're not making a Batman game. I can tell you that. So Warner Bros. Montreal, however, they very well could be making a Batman game. And for those of you unaware, they made Batman Arkham Origins. But they're developing 2 games at once, which means that they're not going to be developing Arkham Origins 2 and Arkham Origins 3 because the game is going to come out within a year of each other, the two games, because they're being developed simultaneously. So it's not like they finish one and then boom, go to the next one, okay? So with that being said, I would have to think that they're developing probably a Suicide Squad game, because the game could come out late 2016. That's reasonable for the trailer to be released at E3, and then ultimately, the game to be released late 2016. That's reasonable. I think that's what they did with Arkham Origins. I could be wrong, though. So with that being said, Suicide Squad game, possible, absolutely. And then also Batman, a Batman game. It could be a spin-off of the movie. I really hope not. It also could be Batman Arkham Origins 2. Now, the problem with Arkham Origins 2, and the reason I don't think it's happening, is because the Origins name is kind of tainted. If I'm not mistaken, they had a terrible PC port as well. There's a lot of glitches in that game that were never fixed. They even came out with a PR statement and said, like, okay, we're not fixing any of the glitches past this point, so there's some issues with that. Could Warner Brothers Montreal be making an Arkham game? I would love it if they did. Okay, I'd look forward to it. I don't want it to be Arkham Origins 2, purely because of the fact I don't think the game would sell well because of the bugs and everything like that in Arkham Origins. Also, they're probably developing a Suicide Squad game. I mean, I think that's very likely. You can just see from the response that, a lot of people seem to really, really like, the first trailer, and I think they knew that the fact that Joker and Harley Quinn were going to be in there, that it was going to be a hit. So here's the thing. I kind of messed up, and jumping to the conclusion. In summary, I definitely messed up about saying that an Arkham game was confirmed. I can definitely assure you now that an Arkham game is not confirmed. We are not guaranteed to get an Arkham game. However, that doesn't mean we're not going to get one. That doesn't mean that we're definitely not getting one. In fact, if I had to bet money on it, I would say we're getting another Batman Arkham game. Not just another Batman game, another Arkham game in particular, which is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to. I hope that Warner Brothers Montreal can kind of mend their continuity errors that they made with Arkham Origins, and I'm sure they'll learn from their mistakes, and their next Arkham game, if they're making one, will be perfectly canon and fit perfectly well into the Rocksteady, Arkhamverse, because of course they made the whole damn thing. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to their game, whatever they make, whether it be a Wonder Woman game, Aquaman game, maybe. I doubt it. He's not as popular as, with video games, they're multi-million dollar investments, not just multi-million dollar, they're hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make these games. They're not going to gamble with a character that they don't even know is popular. And by the way, that hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars isn't even including advertising. And of course, they got to have their, commercial on the NBA Finals, everything like that. So these games are so astronomically expensive. And you really have to think about, Batman. He's a key cornerstone of Warner Brothers, according to the Warner Brothers executive himself. So I think that we're really looking at a Warner Brothers Montreal Arkham game. I think it's certainly plausible. The reason I make this video is I want to reaffirm to everybody that video where I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely getting it, that's totally wrong, okay? It's not confirmed, okay? And that was my mistake. I jumped to conclusions because, again, I couldn't even fathom or comprehend the idea of them actually making another Batman game made by a different developer. So again, it's not guaranteed we're getting an Arkham game, but looking at all sales figures and options and numbers, I think it's certainly very probable with the release of Batman v Superman and how well the games have sold historically. If I'm a betting man, I'm betting on there being a new Arkham game along with a different game. So there's probably not going to be two Arkham games because, again, they're developing both co-equally or at the same time, so they're probably going to be released within a 6-month to a year span. So it's not going to be like Arkham Origins 2 and then 6 months later Arkham Origins 3. That wouldn't be enough time to let the kind of hype simmer with that new one and let the hype build for the next one. So it's probably going to be another Arkham game and then maybe a Suicide Squad game, Aquaman game, Wonder Woman game, whatever. So I don't know. I'm not coming to this video with answers for you. I just wanted to let you know that the options are open and I don't know. And that video that some people have been asking me, what more information about the next Arkham game? It's not confirmed. It's just simply not confirmed. But again, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be one. In fact, if I had to guess, there is going to be one. So I'm not going to ramble about that anymore. I hope none of you guys are too mad about me for shitting on Arkham Origins. Again, Warner Brothers Montreal could easily correct their mistakes, and I know they will. If they're making it, they've seen our response. They know that there's issues with the continuity, and they're going to fix that if they decide to make a new Arkham game. So I'm not at all concerned about the Warner Brothers Montreal Arkham game. In fact, I'm heavily looking forward to it if they decide to go with it. So with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you did, again, feel free to like button. I cannot wait to see what Warner Brothers Montreal is working on, both of their DC-related titles. I'm so thrilled to look at that. I can't wait to see what Telltale's pumping out for Batman. It's going to be a great year for all DC and Bat fans in 2016. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did, again, feel free to like button. My name is SlickMoth, and we'll see you in the next video.